Okay, so this is my development log for the game Super Craps 2, which I'm making for myself. It is a casino craps simulator. It's a 3D simulator, which is what kind of makes it different than all the other ones that are available. This one doesn't use random number generation to roll the dice. It simulates two 3D dice on a 3D craps table, and um, that creates a more realistic experience that's most similar to a casino. I play once a year or twice a year. I'll go to Parks. I'm based out of Philly, so it'll be Parks or I'll go to AC. Um, and you'll notice that when you play online, you play these simulator games online, that they don't the rolls just don't add up. It's you never get the same experience that you get when you're in an actual casino. So it's really hard to run simulations and try out different strategies and test them against a dice roll, because the dice just roll differently when you use the random number generation from the PC than you do if you had like two dice in your hand and you threw them. So this is an attempt to get around that by just literally recreating a craps table. So I'm just getting started. There is a version 1 of Super Craps, and version 1 is available in the Android store. I made it a long time ago. There's a lot of things I kind of want to fix in that game when I make this new version of it. And the new version is going to be for PC only. And the reason why is because I have a lot more I want to do with it in terms of betting strategies and being able to kind of like test them. And I'm going to kind of make that a priority here. And that's just not going to fit on a phone screen. I can't think of a way to kind of make it user friendly and not just some cumbersome mess. This gives me a lot more real estate to play with. Right now, I'm just getting the basics down. I'm getting the rolls in. I'm going to start it here. You can see what I'm talking about. So this may or may not be the end view. So this may or may not end up how the actual game looks. But for now, while I'm testing it, this is what it's going to look like. So I got my two dice here. Um, I can only make the pass line bet at the moment. Right now, I'm messing around with the way the chips work. So you click, I'm left clicking on the pass line here. And what I'll have is all the bets that you can possibly make while the point is off will be highlighted with these green circles kind of move in. Maybe I'll change that later. I don't know. But I may actually just make it so the illustrations on the play field light up. So these will be in white, and the ones that you can't click on will be grayed out. That's another kind of UI thing I could do. But I kind of like the animation. If it doesn't slow things down too much, I'll keep it. So the things I have working so far, your bankroll that shows up here on the table, this automatically changes based on um, how much you're betting. It also changes the units around, so it automatically sorts. You can see visually that the number here matches up with the chip count, and that took a lot of work for that stupid thing. So I'm going to press spacebar and roll the dice to see. I lost. Just craps on the come out roll. Okay, so the point's working. The point puck went to 10. And now, so it's a pass line bet. I can make an odds bet on that, which you would want to do. If it's a 10, some good odds. You got an 11. Hopefully I hit this 10 and I can show it actually pay out. Right now we're just, there we go. All right, so we hit the 10. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the scene view, and I'm just going to kind of use the camera here. You kind of see what I'm doing. I'm just making floating UI menus, and kind of the chips don't really touch the table yet. It's all still the kind of things you have to fix at the very, very end before you make the game live. So what's happening is, if you won $100 on this bet, because of the odds, you're going to have 50 on the back. You're going to win double, so you're going to get 100 on the 50, and then you're going to make a 1-to-1 on your pass line bet. So I had 20 bet, I made 20. I had 50 on the back as the odds, and it pays 2-to-1, so I got 100. So I won $120 on my $70 bet. And honestly, that would be a pretty good roll there. So the next steps that I'm going to do is, obviously the game doesn't do anything now. What will happen is this stuff here, these two bets, will show up in the second roll down here. So you have your bankroll, and then you have your winnings going into the second slot here on the table. And so this $100 chip will end up here. Same with the 20 or the 2 or the 4 $5 units. And this will stack up just like this one does, and automatically kind of color up as you play through. And I will have to put a limit in, obviously, or these are going to just go across and get lost in here. Right now I have $1,000 as the bank, and it'll be adjustable by the user. It's not meant to be a traditional like craps game. It's made to be a simulator, so all the options are going to be made available for tweaking. So you can adjust the weight of the dice. You can adjust the where the dice get thrown from. That's the other thing that's I need to mention there. You can kind of go to the game view. You can turn on all the tiddlywinks, and you can kind of see what's happening here. So what I have is, this is the target, and you can kind of see how it's kind of moving back and forth here. This is where the dice are going to get thrown towards. So it's the, and here's where the shooter is. For now, this is just for while I test. So the shooter sits in the center of the table, about midway, and the dice start from here where the shooter, and it ends here where the target is. So every time you press a space bar, it's throwing the dice at that target. And what will change though is that I'm going to have them, you'll be able to pick where on the table the dice get thrown from. So you'll be able to pick from these points here for where players would stand if they were in a real casino, and the dice will get launched from here towards the target, and the target will not move so much. Again, all this will be adjustable. You'll be able to change where the target is, how often or how fast it moves, where it moves. You can change where the shooter throws from. You can change the dice setting. One of the things that makes a big difference when you get handed the dice in the real casino is the stick man will take the dice and bring them back to the shooter in the exact same position that they were thrown. So, here, we take this away and we go back to just the 2 dice. When he brings the dice back to the shooter, they're going to be with the 5 and 6 are going to be facing up, right? And that's going to affect the randomization of the dice throw, right? Because if he's setting his dice and he's a controlled shooter, that's going to affect the outcome of the roll, rather than someone who just shakes the dice in their hands, But this does here, we could say this is the new seed for the next kind of throw of the dice. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm convinced just makes the game more authentic than using the built-in random number generation. So that's the big difference between my game and the other thing. A couple other things I need to adjust. You'll be able to change this where it says pay double to pay triple. I know some tables have a triple on the field. I don't do the big 6 and 8 on my game because that's just the dumbest bet ever in life. So I just leave it out. The other thing I'm doing here is the high, low, or small, tall, and all. That's copyrighted. I can't put that in my game because that's owned by another company. So what I did is we're calling it the totem bet. It's the same idea, but the bet isn't called the same thing. So this is your high, low, and all. So that's what it's called in Super Craps, and that the reason why, again, is for trademark kind of stuff. All right, so that's my update for now, and you can watch as this game kind of progresses if it's your thing, and I'll maybe get better at making these videos. Probably not. And so next update, I'll hopefully have more of the show. Thanks for watching.